that you, my God, would die for me. Amazing love, how can it be that you, my God, would die for me? You left your Father's throne above, so free and infinite your grace, emptied yourself of all but love, and bled for Adam's helpless race. Amazing love, how can it be that you, my God, would die for me? Amazing love, how can it be that you, my God, would die for me? Boldly I come before your throne to claim your mercy immense and free. No greater love will e'er be known, for, oh my God, it found out me. Amazing love, how can it be that you, my God, would die for me? Amazing love, how can it be that you, my God, would die for me?
Let's go to our Father. Oh, Holy Father, we come before you today. We know you are the God of love. With amazing love, your love is endured forever. So be with us, guide us in all work that we are going to do today. Be with our teacher, give them wisdom so that they will teach us with your word and we will go and share them with other people. Be with us, Holy God. I ask all this in Jesus' name as I phrase. Amen.
The scripture reading this morning will be from 1 Thessalonians chapter 2, verses 7 through 9. 1 Thessalonians 2, verses 7 through 9. But we prove to be gentle among you, as a nursing mother tenderly cares for her own children. Having so fond an affection for you, we were well pleased to impart to you not only the gospel of God, but also our own lives, because you had become very dear to us. For you recall, brethren, our labor and hardship, how working night and day so as not to be a burden to any of you, we proclaim to you the gospel of God.
Well, today it's been given to me to talk to you about our internship programs here that we are trying to reignite, you might say. We thought for many years that internships were an important thing for ministers as they graduate from institutes like Sunset International Bible Institute. And so as I was thinking about internships and speaking today, and I thought internships certainly will help fill a great need. And we'll talk a little bit about that this morning, because internships is all about hands-on training. And I think that also experience is very important. And then it's about keeping preachers preaching for many, many years, we hope. And so, of course, I thought about talking a little bit about Paul and Timothy. What a great mentor Paul must have been for young Timothy as he began to travel with Paul in his missionary journeys together. And what an experience that must have been for this young man of God, the things that he saw in the Apostle Paul, and how he ministered to people, and how he carried on his work for the Lord in preaching the gospel. And then another one I would assume everybody would think about is Barnabas and John Mark. You know, Barnabas' name is defined as the son of encouragement. And so what of encouragement he must have been to that young man, John Mark, as for some reason he left the first missionary journey and returned home. But as we know, he was still faithful to the Lord and served the Lord. And I'm just thinking Barnabas probably had a part in mentoring him and continuing to encourage him to give himself to the greatest work on the face of the earth. So I think about a lot of things. I thought about a lot of things before coming up here today, and might seem funny to you, but I even thought about Wissam getting his driver's license. Because that may sound funny to you, but you see, before Wissam got his driver's license, he needed some practical experience in driving. And guess who was the one that gave him that practical experience in driving? Yeah, Nancy. Wissam, she loves you, but not that. No, she does love you, but and even after that practical experience, it took him 5 times to pass the test to get his license. But the experience, I believe, helped out, don't you think, Brother Wissam? And so I could use a lot of maybe analogies similar to that in the arena of a lot of professions. And another one I thought about was my heart surgery. I did have heart surgery several years ago now, and as I was thinking about interning and getting practical experience in different fields, you certainly want your doctor to have some practical experience and not just book learning, right? And so I thought, wow, what if I was his first patient? He had never done a surgery at all until he got, to me, and the only thing he had was his classroom experience. I would like to have known that up front. So maybe I would have chosen another doctor at that point. So anyway, that's to say that truly in any profession you really learn from books, but then you also learn from experience, and that's what internships, I believe, is all about. We do have now a postgraduate and summer internship program. I think even the first-year students, while you're here during the summer break, you can get some good experience for a summer by going to a congregation and being mentored and being involved in ministry experiences, even for that period of 4 to 6 weeks or whatever it turns out to be. It would be a great experience for you, and you can learn some practical things in ministry that are very, very important. So I just want you to know that we do have the postgraduate and summer internship program now, which we're going to continue to try to develop through the years to be something that is most of all beneficial for our students before they graduate. A realized need in the classroom training isn't enough. You can know the book forwards and backwards and preach a great sermon, but there is also other aspects in ministry that would benefit you as a preacher. And I think the model that I tried to choose for my ministry was read to you this morning from 1 Thessalonians chapter 2, verses 7 through 9. It really jumped out at me when I was studying here with Doyle Gillum. He was teaching 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, and when I read this passage when he talked about these verses, it really just kind of hit home with me that, wow, what a model for ministry. Did you notice Paul's mode of ministry for the church in Thessalonica? He said, I was as gentle with you as a mother nursing her little baby. That's holding a baby at her breast and feeding that child. And it has to be some kind of experience that changes your life as a mother to care and nurse a child. And that's the way he ministered to the church. I thought, wow, that fits my personality really just pretty good. And so it really stuck with me. And then he went on to say, not only did we share the gospel with you, but we shared our very lives with you. And we have this great fond affection, he did, for the church in Thessalonica. And so I just think it's a great model. And to model that way to people in the church sometimes, it takes experience. It takes learning. It takes believing in what you're doing and not reacting to what sometimes the brethren are doing to you. And so hopefully you can learn and see that in a mentor if you are in an internship program. Too many lost in ministry. We've realized that here at Sunset just over in the last few weeks. That was supposed to change. Too many lost in ministry. As I just said, we have lost several from the pulpit in the last several months that, to me, when they were here, were very strong Christians. And things have changed in their lives, and the statistics are not good when it comes to the idea of preachers that we are losing year by year. I just happened to pull out some old articles from when I first came here to Sunset as a recruiter. And even though the years have changed, I don't think the statistics that I'm about to read to you have changed all that much. I think we're losing far too many. Here's an editorial in a Brotherhood paper by Bobby Key. I've never met Bobby Key, but I read this article some years ago, and he says this: the faithful, hard-working, Bible-quoting preacher is becoming hard to find. More gospel preachers are leaving the pulpit than are being trained. Keep in mind that preaching pleases God. There is no greater work for a young man, a young man can do than preach the good news of salvation. And I know we believe that. I have believed that for a long, long time. But he, in his article, let's see, I forgot. I think this article was written in let's see. I didn't write that down anywhere. March 1998. Okay. Here's another article that I've kept through the years. It says, longtime preacher, Bible teacher, and current director of Bear Valley Bible Institute of Denver wrote on February 21st, 1997. That would be J.J. Turner, I believe. He writes, did you know that last year all of our schools and colleges graduated only 200 men who said they were going to preach? In that same year, 800 men quit preaching. Last Sunday, 33% of our congregations didn't have preachers. The world is lost. Its population is fast approaching 6 billion, so you can hear the times have changed. Closer to 7 billion now, I believe. The need has never been greater to train faithful, sound gospel preachers. And then he finishes that article with capital letters, you can make a difference. And so he was encouraging young men to give themselves to preaching. Another article, according to Everett Hufford, Jr., Dean of the Harding Graduate School of Religion. He writes, more than 600 men are leaving the ministry every year. All of our schools combined are producing less than one half that many, leaving a shortfall of 300 per year. And he says later in this article, what we should do is pray, pray, pray. Because the Lord said, beseech the Lord of the harvest that He would raise up workers for His kingdom. And we have done that. So the statistics are devastating. More preachers leave ministry every year than are produced in all of our universities and training schools. The new statistics that I have here says that 50 to 65% of university or training school graduates drop out of full-time ministry within the first 5 years. 50 or 60%. So it's important what we're talking about to try to keep preachers preaching. It's not about the quality of Bible training. We are educating men in the Bible, and they have one thing that a lot of people say about the graduates of Sunset when they hear them preach, is say, boy, they really know the Bible. And so it's not about Bible training. It's some about unrealistic expectations. We say, I have shared this with a lot of students here in my 15 years, that don't expect when you graduate from here that you're going to go and preach at the perfect church. Because there's not one, And the second thing I tell them is, very quickly, is don't think you're going to graduate from here and be the perfect preacher, because there's not one, you see. And so expectations are important. So some experience out there in the front lines would help you realize and maybe change some of your expectations. Inexperience in practical ministry is what is needed. We just need more experience, or you need, our graduates need, and I needed that when I left here. Fortunately, when I came to Sunset, I had been in full-time work as a youth minister, and I served the church as a deacon for about 12 years before I came to Sunset. So I was in a lot of elders' meetings. I was in a lot of, church politics and things of that nature, and so fortunately, I think the Lord blessed me with that experience before I went into full-time preaching. And so that's what we want to do. I mean, we leave here sometimes very naive as far as the church is concerned. That they're just all going to love my sermons. Oh, they're going to love every one of them. They're going to love almost everything I do. Well, sometimes that's not always true. One of our graduates did say some years ago in his senior sermon, Bud Millishaver said this. If y'all remember, most of you will remember Bud Millishaver, the faculty. And he said, you can love to preach and not love the people you preach to. And so there is a big difference being a minister to the people and just preaching a good sermon. So anyway, this is a diagram that also was shared with me a long, long time ago, and I just wanted to share it with you. But it is a diagram that was made, I believe, drawn up by one of our students. Someone that was a student here many years ago. And up here you can see where it says churches, schools of preaching, and so on and so forth, producing people for ministry. You see the little fire hose-like thing coming out of there and going up to the front. It's just gushing in there, isn't it? Supply of preachers being produced. See the little trickle for the reservoir, and it's empty, more empty than it is full. And so we are losing preachers for a lot of reasons. Retirement, discouragement, death, materialism, divorce, immorality, illnesses. Just there's all kinds of reasons why we're losing men in ministry. And so look at the reservoir, how low it is. And you and I know that there are churches today everywhere. I shared with you, I believe, when Larry and I was in North Dakota at that leadership workshop a week or so ago, we were shocked to hear that there's one full-time preacher in all, one full-time paid preacher in all of North Dakota. And they're begging for helpers in that area. They need workers for the kingdom. And so there is a real need. And unfortunately, not all churches are helping to produce ministers, but at least some are. Big churches and small churches. And then here's kind of the drain, coming out here to send to the mission fields. So comparatively speaking, we are not producing as many as some other denominations in the world. They are producing workers for the kingdom. So I say all that, we've got to keep preachers preaching, and internships may just help do that. What is the need? Additional hands-on ministry training and experience. Additional ministry mentoring. Young preachers, no matter how old you are, if you're graduating from here and you are then a full-time preacher, you're a young preacher at that point, as far as experience is concerned in full-time work. More time to have men and women who are experienced and gifted in various ministry areas, nurtured and helped along the way to sharpen your skills. That would be very important. We don't want just anyone to be a mentor either for our internship program. We want to choose quality men who have certainly a love for preaching and a love for the Lord and has many years of experience to mentor those so they can really grow and sharpen the skills to be a minister and help them through the ups and downs of a true life of ministry so they will stay in preaching. Additional evaluation and direction. Of course, the reason here you have tests and things to see if you're getting the knowledge that you need to go out and preach. And so, but what about an evaluation when you leave this place? How are you doing in ministry? Is your mentor, are you talking with him? Is there a list of things he's going to go over with you and help you develop skills and learn to function as a minister in different areas that you're called to for ministry? And then just the idea of additional ministry clarity. More time for an intern to discover his ministry strengths and weaknesses and make more educated or objective decisions concerning his future in ministry. Maybe you're here and you're thinking, hey, yeah, man, that's just wonderful. I'm going to go out there and preach the Word for the rest of my life. And then you get out there in the work and it's not everything you expected it to be. And then you may decide, maybe this wasn't for me after all. That's not necessarily wrong. Because if your heart's not in it and you're not there for all the right reasons because of the calling of God and the importance of preaching the Word and ministering to people, if you stay, you could do more harm than good in many ways. So maybe through some practical experience, you might make that decision before you give yourself to full-time ministry. Here's a little story. I'll read it as time permits. Let's see. It's concerned, let's just say we were going to fly from here to New York City, okay, all of us. And we board a plane to fly from Lubbock to New York City, and we get in, we're seatbelted in, the pilot taxis out, and he takes off, and he gets up to his flying altitude, and then the captain turns on the microphone and says, "Folks, this is your pilot. I have a terrible confession to make. When we took off from Lubbock, I had every intention of flying you good people to New York. I aimed this great plane in the right direction, but I just kept drifting off course. I must confess, it has happened to me many times before, but I told myself this time would be different. I guess I'm just not cut out to be a pilot. I'm going to do my best to get you back to Lubbock, and you can either catch another plane or get to New York the best way you can. How would you feel? A little nervous? Did this man really want to fly? But then the co-pilot comes on and saves the day. He says, "Folks, you've got nothing to worry about. I've made this journey many times before. Everything your pilot said was true, but you see, because of the curve of the earth and the changes in the direction of the wind, we are constantly flying off course. All we do is sit out our course for New York, and with all these million-dollar instruments, we just make a few adjustments now and then, and that's the way we get to New York from Lubbock. Every day of the year. You just relax and have a good time. We'll have you in New York right on schedule, just like the book says." I feel better already, don't you? So, who would you rather be mentored by? You know, someone that had the experience, that had the knowledge, that cared about what he was doing, or someone that was just half-heartedly doing a job that he really didn't want to do. Congregations, we really want to find congregations that would share the vision, share the understanding of the need and the potential of this kind of mentorship, that it will help keep preachers preaching in ministry. They would have a deep esteem and respect and care for ministers and their service. They have to show that. Fruits of the Spirit would abound in this congregation. Love, joy, peace, patience, goodness, faithfulness, mercy, and self-control. Maybe the most they would need while they're mentoring a preaching student is patience. And so you'll be helping the church grow and the leaders grow and everyone grow as well as you're getting this kind of experience. So the congregations would be important. And then leaders would be important in this internship program. They need to have an eagerness to include the intern in as much of their ministry activities as possible. That would be a must. You can't bring him there and then think, well, he might make too many mistakes up there, so we're not going to really let him do that for a while. Well, they must understand, they must have an eagerness that he needs that experience. That's where the intern's going to learn. And they need to be men who, in a church, who would encouragement of the intern, participating in all aspects of congregational ministry, taking the intern with them wherever they go. Encourage the minister as the mentor in his training of the intern. They must be behind him and realize it's going to take some work and effort from him, and communicate a positive spirit in regard of the internship program, or it won't continue. They might try it once, and if it's not a good experience, they're not going to do it again. I'm meeting with a man this morning who had an internship at his congregation down in Snyder, Texas. His name is Dale Huff. We're meeting at 10 o'clock. And they had 3 or 4 of our students come in a mentorship. And it was a beautiful thing to see how the leaders were behind the whole internship program. Financially, spiritually, and even the elders were willing to mentor those that they brought in for the internship. The mentors would be the pulpit minister, primarily will be the one who would be the mentor. The mentor is to have at least, as we said, 10 years maybe of dedicated ministry experience, so he can share that experience with him. Then the mentor should have the willingness and expertise to guide the intern in academic growth and also in human relations and people skills, because like we said earlier, there's more to preaching than just the Sunday morning and Sunday night sermons. It's working with people and caring about people. Interns, submit to the training and the guidance with humility. Conduct yourself in a Christ-like manner. Give the needed time and efforts, because it's not just going there to be the second guy on staff doing whatever anybody else doesn't want to do. You're going to be writing Bible lessons and writing sermons each week, and maintaining a daily log, kind of like spiritual disciplines. first year just went through spiritual disciplines. You guys in the second year remember how beneficial that was, and so you need to get back in that habit. Have daily devotions, write a detailed monthly report and activities. So there's going to be a lot of things to do to help you to grow, and then there'll be reports written quarterly and monthly and even yearly. Director of Internships, that would be me now, would help maintain contact with the mentor and the internship and keep the relationship with the student and the school going. Be available as an advisor to the mentor if needed. And then I will be the one coming to you to encourage you all along the way to consider an internship. I believe everyone, I hope I see the day that when this program, as it continues to grow, that we would have a place for every student to go and spend a year to a year and a half with some practical ministry experience under the guidance of a great minister of God. And we think it would help keep our preachers preaching. So think about an internship, right? Shake your head up and down. Yes, I will. Can you say the word internship? Internship. There you go. Just be saying that word over and over and over again as you get closer and closer to graduating. God bless.
Thank you, Speedy. I really hope you'll take seriously what Speedy said. Every year we have guys graduate, go out into ministry, and every year we get phone calls from those same guys. And what do you think that their statement is? Well, why didn't you tell me about this? I mean, it's the same every single time.